Hello and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to be reviewing the Pagani Design PD-1671, homage to the Tudor Black Bay. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing my Peter Lee homage to the Rolex Explorer 2. And Grego's wearing a Adidas Joker watch. Grego is upset with Han Solo. The other day they went for a long walk, and after a while Grego really felt the call of nature. When they finally found an outhouse, even though Grego really had to go, Han shat first. Here's the watch. This is a Pagani design and not a Pagani design, so I don't have to sound stupid saying Pagani. These watches are going for $150 on AliExpress, so it's pretty expensive for a Pagani design. It's one of their higher end watches. I already did an unboxing video, but here's the box. It's one of their more simple boxes. They also make fancy hinge boxes that some of the other Pagani design watches I've reviewed came in, but I prefer these simple boxes. First of all, they're a lot lighter than the other boxes, so it's less expensive to ship. Because I have to sell these watches when I'm done reviewing them, because nobody's giving me watches to review. So it keeps the shipping costs low when I sell them. Plus, even if I had the fancy box, I'd never keep it in the fancy box. I have a watch case. Pagani Design calls this a tribute to the Black Bay 58, but I disagree. The dimensions are more similar to the Heritage Black Bay 41. And they make a red model, and they don't make a BB58 red. Although the BB58, they do make a blue on blue, which they also make in the Pagani Design, and they don't make a Heritage blue on blue. This particular one has a blue face and a black bezel, and there's not a there's not a Tudor at all that has a blue dial and black bezel, so this is kind of unique, which is one of the reasons why I picked this one. If you look in the box, it came with this NATO strap, which is the exact same strap that came with my Pagani Design No Time to Die homage of the Seamaster. Unfortunately though, this is a 20mm strap, but this watch here is a 22mm watch. I guess it's okay for a NATO to be a little narrower than the watch, but if you're going to include a free strap, please include the right size. The watch is 42mm at the bezel, which is 1mm larger than the Tudor Black Bay Heritage. It's 22mm lug width, 14.8mm thick, but as you can see, a lot of that thickness is due to the crystal. 50mm lug to lug, and weighs 170 grams, which is kind of heavy. But this is a fairly large watch, so it's not heavier than a watch this size should be. The case is solid stainless steel, nicely brushed. A Tudor Black Bay has a polished side, but this one has a brushed side, and that's good anyway. I prefer brushed to polished on a tool watch. The anodized aluminum bezel is a 90 click. Has very nice action. You can hear the clicks. They're good clicks. And there's very little back play, just a little play, but not very much. It's solid. But once again, it's 90 click, where most watches are either 60 or 120. My Pagani Design No Time to Die homage was also a 90 click. The blue dial has a diagonal waffle pattern with a sunburst edges. When I say sunburst, I don't mean the light reflection off the dial. I mean the actual paint, where it's lighter in the middle and darker on the edges. The Tudor doesn't have the waffle pattern. This is unique to the Pagani Design. It's got nice snowflake hands, the hour hand and the second hand snowflake. And it's got the square applied indices, which is different than the Black Bay. It's more similar to the Tudor Pelagos or the old style Tudor military watches. I prefer the square indices anyway. I think it just makes it look more unique. Plus, I really want a Pelagos, which has the square indices. The Pagani Design logo and the depth rating is all printed on. And it's got a signed screw-in crown with a red border. The red border makes perfect sense for the red colorway, but it doesn't make any sense for the blue or black colorways. If you look at the actual Tudors, the red colorway does have the red crown. The black and the blue colorways have a black crown on the edge. So I don't know why they included a red crown on these other colors. I don't think it looks right. I've seen crowns before where they have a red color to indicate that the crown's unscrewed, so you know to screw the crown back in before you put it in the water. But in this case, it doesn't do that. It's just there for decoration. It just looks odd. It has a very thick sapphire crystal that sits a whopping 2 millimeters above the bezel, which adds a lot of height to the watch. But it does a pretty good job of not reflecting the light. As you can see, of course, when the lights are head on. It has a display case back that shows the NH35 movement. The Caseback crystal, though, is not sapphire. I tested it. It's just mineral glass. But you don't have to worry about scratching the back Caseback because it's going to be against your arm. So I guess the sapphire is not really necessary and keeps the cost down. And once again, this Pagani Design has a very plain looking rotor. So I don't know why they even bother with the display cases. I think just a nice looking case back would be just great. The bracelet looks like a 5-link, but it's actually a 3-link. Here, let me show you one of the removed links. See it's got this link here, but the middle link doesn't move at all. So really the 3 middle links are really one solid link. But it's a nice solid stainless steel, and it's nicely brushed. It has female solid end links, but the female end links are kind of a problem because it's got the rivets in the bracelet, and sometimes the rivets catch on the lugs, and it's hard for it to articulate around the lugs because of the rivets. It would have been nice if they would have just not bothered with the rivets on the very end links. The rivets, though, do look nice on the rest of the links, and it does make it look a lot more Tudor-like. The bracelet has screw-in links. It makes adjusting the bracelet very easy. I had to remove 3 links to fit this on my 7.5-inch wrist, so this is a big bracelet. If you have a big wrist, you should be able to wear this just fine. And it has this nicely milled clasp. It looks really good. Fully milled. The scissor part is milled, and the casing is milled too. But it's only got 3 micro adjust when there's room for 4. And there's another issue too. This watch has a diver's extension. See, diver's extension. But the trouble with the diver's extension is it takes up so much room in the clasp that one of these micro adjusts is useless, because if you put it on the very first micro adjust here, then you don't have enough room to close the clasp properly. So you can't put it in this very first one. So really, I think it would have been better if they didn't have a diver's extension. Because first of all, this is not a true diver's watch because it's only rated for 100 meters. And yes, you can also wear a wetsuit when you're not diving. You can wear it if you're surfing, snorkeling, or doing other ocean activities where the water's just cold and you want the wetsuit. So a diver extension would be nice to put around a wetsuit. But if you're going to have the diver's extension, you want to have a clasp that it fits properly, and it doesn't fit properly. And it's so basically you only have 2 micro adjusts. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. It looks really nice. I really like the looks of this watch. It's going to make me sad when I have to sell it. Bracelet looks nice. Fits properly. Thankfully, the micro adjust fits me just fine. If my wrist was a different size though, I'd be complaining. Here we are in the Lume room to check out the Lume. I say this every time, I'm going to say it again. I have to charge this watch with a UV flashlight to get the Lume to show up good. And that's not because the Lume is bad in this watch. The watch has some pretty good Lume, but it's just because my camera is so bad at seeing stuff in the dark. So let's give it a good charge. Here we go. Charge. Alright, let's go ahead and kill the lights. And there's the Lume. As you can see, the Lume's pretty good. When I look at the watch in the morning, I can usually see the Lume. But as you can see, there's one little discrepancy here. The hand Lume is not as good as the index Lume. And if you're going to skimp on the Lume, please skimp on the index Lume and not the hand Lume. It's not much use to have indexes you can see if you can't see the hands. So once again, when I wake up in the morning and look at my watches in the dark, I can see the indexes on this watch, but I cannot see the hands. So Pagani Design, you need to increase the hand Lume. What do I like about this watch? Well, it's got impressive build. Very nice brushwork all over the place. Plus it just looks nice. It's got nice bezel action. Nice good clicks. Very little back play. And it lines up nicely. And the screw-in pins make adjusting the bracelet easy peasy. Plus, I really think they nailed the black bay look without making it a complete clone of the watch. What are my gripes and groans? Red crown. WTF. Really, why? Why this red crown? It only makes sense if you have the red colorway. And why a 90 click bezel? 90 doesn't make sense. There are 60 minutes in an hour. So it should be either 60 or 120, not 90. And the clasp, 3 micro adjust, where 1 you can't even use it. Not enough. You need more micro adjust. And $150 is kind of up there for a Pagani Design watch. It's on the limit of how much you would pay for a Pagani Design. Do I recommend this watch? Yes, I do. Even though it's very expensive for her Pagani Design, it just looks great. When I wear it on my wrist, I just think it looks awesome. I'm going to be really sad when I have to sell this one. Maybe I can convince the wife to keep this for Father's Day. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching my review. And I'll be back with another review or another unboxing video. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And leave some comments if you want. Bye.